Welcome to the Football Exponential Podcast. I'm Chika and I'm joined by Frank.
And welcome back to another episode. Chika, how you doing?
I'm happy. It was a loaded weekend.
Yeah,
Lots of
yes.
games, lots of surprises.
Yeah.
Um, let's dive into the first one. We start with Arsenal and Leicester. The Leicester goalkeeper Matt Hermansen. He had a spectacular game against Arsenal. Although it ended 4-2 at the end, but two goals came in extra time or injury time in the second half. What can you say about him in the game or about him as an individual? Because many people did not know him.
This is one player I'm very fortunate to I'm quite familiar with him, especially with his background coming from Danish football.
Mhm.
Up until a few years ago, he was the one goalkeeper for Brøndby for Brøndby FC here in Denmark. He was he was clearly the best goalkeeper here in Denmark. He's always been around the Danish national team. Just he hasn't really, I don't think he's made a senior cap yet, but so I think so far he's primed to be the successor to Kasper Schmeichel. But in terms of his overall goalkeeping, he's comfortable on the ball. He's good at saves. He has this cat-like reflexes where he's able to go down and spring up quickly, as we saw against Arsenal, where he made save after save. I think it's a record 13 saves in the Premier League game since December 2017, and ironically, the goalkeeper on that day was the guy against Arsenal. So that's but he's what they call like he's the modern goalkeeper where you see he's fantastic in distribution. Like we saw with Leicester last season with Maresca in the championship where they tried to build up from the back with the goalkeeper acting as an extra on-field player. But he's a player that I've loved, especially against I've seen him play against my club here in Denmark, FC Copenhagen, where he's fantastic on penalty saves. Like he's been a thorn outside. And most FCK supporters like us, FC Copenhagen, were very happy when he left the Danish capital to go to Leicester. But so far in Leicester, in England, and Leicester and the Premier League now, he's been consistent. He was tipped to go to Chelsea in the summer. I feel that move didn't materialize because of the financials, and Chelsea went for another Danish goalkeeper who's quite similar in terms of the
Mhm.
overall style of goalkeeping. Like they are playing out of the back, possession based, huge comes out for crosses and all that. Has a big frame. They went for Philippe Jorgensen as well. But I think Emerson, that's a performance that announces yourself to Premier League football and even European football that this is a serious goalkeeper. Where in the everyone's looking for this unicorn of goalkeepers, the Allisons, the Edersons, where they might not actually like they might you can excuse the actual goalkeeping qualities like traditional goalkeeping, shot stopping, and the overall natural traits of goalkeepers, but go for that goalkeeper who has more in terms of ball playing and things that come with that. I feel Emerson has just put himself on, has announced himself on the world stage as one of a goalkeeper that Klaus will be watching on going forward with keen interest. But it was a very because I was watching the Chelsea game, but I just caught up with the Arsenal game in between, and some of the saves he was making was just ridiculous. Like it was spectacular. Yeah.
Okay, he was yesterday he had 13 saves, three punches, one high claim, eight recoveries in one game. And despite this, he still considered four goals. But it shows you how bad it could have been if he wasn't that good in the game. And this season also, he has this season also, you can see he has
Oh,
made the most he has made the most he has made the most saves in the Premier League with 31 saves. He has recorded the fourth most recoveries with 55 recoveries. Also, Leicester signed him for £7 million, just £7 million
and
last season.
and at the time it was it looked it seemed I felt it was a very cheap transfer they got him because it was also rumored to go Burnley were interested in him last season before he moved to Leicester, where Vincent Company made a couple personal scouting trips to Denmark to watch him play playing the Danish league. But I guess for whatever reason that deal didn't manifest. But he's that's good investment for Leicester where they've got
And
a
then
solid
he was a
goalkeeper.
champion. He was a Danish champion, and he was the best Bromby best player of the season.
Yeah,
So that tells you a lot about him.
yeah, it's
So it's just, but I think he's just starting. And naturally, you look at it, he plays for Bromby. Peter Schmeichel started from Bromby. I don't know if Casper started from Bromby. Now I think he's decided.
Casper was Man City.
Oh,
Yeah,
Casper was okay. His father
yeah,
was
so
in
yeah,
England.
exactly, yeah,
I think he has a very good personality, a quiet guy, and
yeah.
I like his physical build and all those. Oh, let's go to the next one. Sanchez. Chelsea recorded a 4-2 win against that was uh Brighton, and then the same style that has stifled so many teams played just down into Chelsea's hands.
Playing out of
But
the
at the
back.
same time, playing out of the back. At the same time, the goalkeeper made a mess up with so many. He made so many mistakes. What do you think about him as regards? Is he the answer for Chelsea?
I feel we've talked about
Excuse
Sanchez.
me, sorry. If you are watching us right now, you're enjoying what we are doing, or you are enjoying what you are seeing, please smash the like button and follow. Drop some comments and ask some questions. Continue. What do you think about him?
Yeah, Sanchez is a goalkeeper we talked about when we did our preview to the season, and I felt in terms of Chelsea, I I felt before the season started, I felt it was a matter of time before Sanchez gets taken out of the first team. But so far this season, it's been a mixed bag where you have the game against Bournemouth where he saves the penalty, though there's a mistake where he gives away the penalty himself. He saves it. He has a man of the match performance against Bournemouth, and he's been solid so far this season. But on Saturday against Brighton, that's just the first goal is typical Sanchez. Where if you look at the goals or his time back at Brighton, where he has this moments of I don't know if it's concentration or just I don't know how to explain it, where he just makes the wrong choice at the wrong time that somehow always finds his way to cost his team a goal. And on the first goal on Saturday, it was just one of those moments where he had no reason to come out. And even if you're coming out, you make sure either you get the ball or you get the ball on demand. But in this case, he comes out, he vacates his goal. He doesn't get the ball, he doesn't get the player, and Chelsea consider an easy goal. And he sets the team back. Then Chelsea find a way to get back into the game. They get the lead at back to 3-1. Then he gives away another goal, which is when he's trying to build out of the back. There's a late pass. He tries to pass to Caicedo in the build up, and boom, Brighton are back in the game at 3-2. Then, well, personally, I feel so far this season I'm not going to say I've been happy with his overall performance this season, but I feel it's a mixed bag I talk about emotional goalkeepers, and Sanchez is the definition of an emotional goalkeeper where some of his actions just you can't legislate for his actions. And on the day, I feel like a lot of people will point to the mistake where he made where he's trying to play after the back. That for me. If you're trying to do that, there'll be some mistakes where you're trying to do that with the back. You've seen most teams so far in the Premier League get caught out. Even the goalkeeper Matt Emerson yesterday was caught out as well. I think twice, but he then pulled off a fantastic save. But with the first one, that's unforgivable. You can't make those mistakes, and I fear it might be a situation where at some point I have this feeling in my gut where at some point this season Chelsea might have to make a decision to either to go in January to get another goalkeeper or give newly signed second choice goalkeeper Danish goalkeeper Philip Jorgensen a chance in the Premier League because so far he's been the cup goalkeeper, and we at Chelsea we've seen him in the cups where he's looked solid. I like what I've seen from him in the cup games, be it against lower teams and lower oppositions and what comes with that. But I like the confidence he brings. The best way I describe it, he brings that confidence to the defense where he brings that calm. Everyone knows what he's trying to do. He's authoritative, plays out the back well, comes for crosses. He has that figure of a serious goalkeeper. So it's been an interesting one to see how that develops. But so far it's one of those ones. You've had a bad day, your teammates bailed you out, you got the win. You find that under a bad day, you move on. But I fear with Sanchez that these mistakes. He has these mistakes in his game, so I'm worried about that. How do you feel?
Oh, I'll say the problem is that when you watch him, you're not convinced.
Exactly.
I'm not convinced. He plays like he pulls out some very difficult saves, like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
very very difficult saves. Yeah, he reminds me of Tim Howard when he was in Manchester
ex-
United, where he could pull off saves, but he had a lot of mistakes in him. When he was in Everton, he was more established and all those. But I had a check about on his records or his stats. He has made 65 recoveries, which is the most in the Premier League. He has recorded the fourth most saves, and that is 25 saves. He has the second. He has two high claims. So the point I'm trying to say, and he's only 26, and keepers get
yeah,
older,
yeah,
get better when they are older,
yeah.
and he's not really really bad with the ball in his leg on his leg.
He's
Like
he's good.
he's not all that good, but he's
He's
good.
good.
Yeah.
He's good.
But the problem I have is his confidence. And the problem is when you see those kind of players, it's either you continue to play them for years till they get better or
Exactly.
they will never get better.
Yeah, exactly.
Bates was like that. That also. Young kids celebrated him, Fabian Bates in France, but he had that mistake in
No,
him also.
no. Like I just like the example you gave, and I feel like Tim Howard is a perfect example of where you have this goalkeeper that goes to a club the size of Manchester United, and he doesn't look convincing in all his stay in United. Then he takes a step backwards and goes to Everton, and then he grows into this fantastic goalkeeper we saw in the Premier League way back when. And with Sanchez, it's just if Chelsea have high aspirations to achieve good things or achieve big things this season, you can't have a goalkeeper you can't trust. And
No, I don't think you can challenge for a title with him.
I feel it's as simple as that. It's either he steps up and he brings that overall trust and reliability to the team and his teammates, then we can go forward. But I feel the performances like that yesterday, it's worrying. But I believe at some point there'll be, and with Maresca, he's going to throw the new second goalkeeper into the like.
Yeah. I feel the second goalkeeper is
So,
more to be desperate to be first.
so it's also it just I feel it comes down to a situation where if I'm the second goalkeeper, I will have this mindset where if I know I'm playing cup games, all I just have to do is keep performing well in the cup games
Mm-hmm.
and putting that doubt in the coach's mind, in the coaching staff, to or in a way pressure them to make that decision because Sanchez, I can't say he won't make those mistakes again. That's
No, it's difficult. It's difficult.
I can't just say that's a one-off game. He had a bad game. Some goalkeepers have those games where, okay, Alisson, I've seen Alisson a few times where you know what, that's Alisson had a bad game today. You put it under that for a bad game, you move on. But with Sanchez, I don't know. Well, but Chelsea is still it's building blocks. It's building blocks. But I also say even after with the mistakes he made, he still put up a cup. He put up two good saves
A
yesterday.
lot of things, a lot of
So
things. There was one Danny
exactly
Welbeck.
in the first
There
half.
was one with Baleba also. Where
Ex,
Baleba,
ex,
he
so
did
it's
only.
so it's early.
And what makes his own case very very bad is that sometimes keepers have mistakes in them, but you don't know until they make it. But when you watch him, you just see it. Chesney was like that while he was at as
Yeah,
Arsenal. Remember,
yeah.
you just see. But he grew because the same Chesney that played for Juventus is not the same Arsenal Chesney. I don't think. To me, if I'm Chelsea or Chelsea fans, I'm not thinking too much about that. If he's not
So
that good, there's a second
so
goalkeeper. I try him.
so let me put the question to you now. So you're the coach. Do you make the decision now and say, okay, you know what, this is
No, I won't make. It's too early. No, I won't
okay,
make the
okay,
decision now.
yeah,
No,
fair enough,
no.
okay.
I'll let him. I won't make the decision because if I make the decision, it's going to be final. When I mean final, that's not final, but he
Exactly,
has to do a lot to convince me. So I'm not making it now. Yeah,
exactly,
the team is winning. I'll let him ride.
yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. Do you think Manchester City having played a 1-1 draw with Newcastle? Do you think they will struggle without Rodri? Rodri, yeah.
Um,
Do you think if Rodri was in that game, it would have been different?
if he was in the game, would never know because obviously he didn't play. But I also say so far this season, Rodri has only started one Premier League game so far this season, and that was the game last week against Arsenal where he ultimately got injured. And up until that point, Man City have looked they've looked convincing in the Premier League so far. And I know we'll get into this position where they don't get the result. Then we ask the question: is it because Rodri is not there? Because we know the Man City's win record with and without Rodri so far. But I feel on this day it's one of those games where you go away to Newcastle. Newcastle is a tough place to go. Like most Chelsea fans will know, and most football fans know. Newcastle away
Yeah.
Saturday early kickoff. That's no matter who's available. That's a tough game. You do well to get a point at Newcastle away from home. I don't no
Yeah.
matter who you are. So it's one of those. But I feel the overall problem is it then puts you in a situation where you have to now rely on the other guys. And when I say the other guys, I mean the Kovacic, Gundogan, Matheus Nunes, and
Mm-hmm.
other solutions like Rico Lewis and John Stones and other and Akanji. But on the weekend we saw he stuck with it was a combination of Gundogan sorry of Kovacic and Akanji coming from centre back coming to midfield. It's nothing you've seen before in the past to Man City. But I just feel I don't know if it's wrong, but I feel on the Man City they lacked a lot of attacking threats on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the one specific player or two players specifically. That's Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. Where Jack Grealish had a good day. Haaland was quiet. They kept him quite relatively quiet. Dan Burn and Fabian Schär did a good job on Haaland on the day. But with Bernardo Silva, he doesn't quite bring the threats the likes of Foden or Mahrez in the past, or even De Bruyne bring to this team. Where we all know he's a very good player, but I just feel he's in this funny state where he's not really carrying the attacking burden of the team. I don't know if he's grown comfortable in allowing players like De Bruyne and Foden to kind of to lead the team in that aspect where he just has to stay on the sidelines, help create for them and defer to those players. But when you miss De Bruyne, you miss Foden, it comes down to Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and I felt Gundogan he looks most of the actions he did on there was just slow. The thought process was slow. The overall intensity brought the team was slow. So I don't know if it's not the same Gundogan because obviously he's been away for years. So I don't know if he might take a couple of weeks or a couple of months to get back to the same rhythm or the Premier League rhythm or even Man City's rhythm again. But I felt Bernardo Silva was one player that me so far been disappointed with this season. I don't feel he's really pushing or carrying the Man City attacking threat. Because I was surprised Pep didn't keep it simple and go with one striker and two wingers.
Mm-hmm.
Doku and Savino, because we've seen Savino's he's starting to make something happen so far. We've seen him against Arsenal, Chelsea, where he looks sharp. I'm surprised Pep didn't go with that option. But with Bernardo Silva, and then we go back to the Rodri situation. And if we're in this place, I will. If I'm Pep, do I then look at Bernardo Silva as a Rodri solution? So say for
Mm-hmm.
example, if because Kovacic is a player where the best you can get from Kovacic, a player where you just have on the bench, you bring him in for a few games, put him back on the bench. If you ask Kovacic to start games consistently, that's where you see his limitations. But with Rodri's absence, do we or does Pep reinvent Bernardo Silva as a deep line playmaker where you have Bernardo Silva in midfield? Then you have Rico Lewis next to him and Akanji or Stones next to him, where you get that defensive solidity, but you also get that the ball security from midfield and passing the ball to four layers to Grealish, Foden, and Cole. But with Man City, I feel it's not necessarily for Rodri. I feel they're still missing. They're missing a spark. The team is missing a spark in that team, and it's obvious when you miss likes of De Bruyne and Foden, you miss that creative spark. Foden is getting back to fitness, finding his way into the team. I don't think he started the game. I don't think Foden has started the Premier League game so far this season. So he's
No.
still finding form and growing. But with Man City, it's I feel you know what I feel. And most teams, especially with teams with Man City, with the resources they have, they shouldn't be in this position where if you miss one player, you have all these worries. We all know Rodri's importance to the team. He's been this important to Man City for the last 3, 4 years. and
Mhm.
I know they've tried in different ways to get that second player to back him up. Be it Calvin Phillips, who they go for big money, didn't work out. Nunes for another big money sign hasn't worked out yet. So it will be it's a challenge Pep needs to sort out sooner rather than later to make sure that title challenge doesn't or that title defense doesn't derail before it actually starts.
The only thing I feel is that I get what you're saying 100%, and I understand. He's a very, very important player. He's exceptional. But the problem I have with City is that if you City, I'm not really worried if I'm a Man City fan because Pep Guardiola is so brilliant that I think he'll sort it out.
Yeah,
He's so brilliant that even when he misses a player, he is the only one that knows he's missing that player. But when you watch it, except you really want to zoom in and watch it, you don't really see it because there's how he makes up for it.
yeah.
I don't know how he makes up for it because Nunes hasn't stepped up. So many players, and I keep telling people, Kovacic is totally a different player from Rodri, and that's why even as a Chelsea fan, I didn't really think when we lost him. He has the experience, yes, but if you check it towards the end of his Chelsea time, he was always injured. He was always injured before he left. He has experience, but he's perfect for transition teams. He
Yeah,
doesn't hold on to the ball. He's totally
he's
different.
a ball
If
carrier.
he might have been the best player with Jurgen Klopp. That's his perfect coach. When you want to play a quick counter, a quick transition, but holding on to the ball is not. Rico Lewis is more of a natural successor. Yesterday he used Akanji. Akanji was moving from defense to Pep will sort it out. But back to Bernardo Silva. This is the reason I had an argument with somebody. I don't rate Bernardo. And why I say it, he's good, but I can't call him world class. And this is where I have a problem with you and you have a problem with me. I rate Fernandez more than Bernardo. You rate Bernardo more than Fernandez. And this is why I love Fernandez. You can say anything. The problem I have is you can't be giving me those numbers Fernandez is giving me week in, week out. And I will turn back and say he's not good. The problem I have with him in some key games, he messes up or he doesn't do well. But it's few. Bernardo, all through the season, if you look at his very good games, it's like 6 games or 10 games, and he's the best player on the field. The rest games he goes missing. He has Foden carrying the team. He has Kevin De Bruyne carrying the team, even for the Portuguese team. So the point I'm saying is that you can't be that world class. You can't be that great. And then I'm not depending on you for the whole season. He's better for cup competitions. So I don't really count on him that much. Your worst player, you don't like him, Grealish. He had exceptional
It was good. It
game.
was good.
He was good, yeah. He was good
Yeah,
yesterday. So
he's been
he
he's
was
been
good.
he's been silently putting in good performances this season. But okay, but like you said, just a question for you. Like you said, like you trust Guardiola to find the solution. He knows his players more than anyone. But you think it gets to a point where you have as a coach you have certain blind spots for certain players in terms of their overall performances and how they perform in this team, like because you can trust them you've trusted them in the past and they've always come good for you. And like we know, time takes a lot from players. Bernardo Silva now, Bernardo Silva 2 years ago is not quite the same player. So does he have that blind spot? With if
No,
you
he has it. He has it. He's a human being. He has it. He has it.
so
If
it's
Klopp had it when he never wanted to release any of those old
exactly
players.
so
Mourinho had it where he kept so many. Most coaches who, no matter how great they are, they find it difficult. Ancelotti learned from it in Milan. The Ancelotti of Real Madrid, he kept all those old Kaka, Gazaz, Kakaladze. He kept them. Sergino, I'm like wondering.
yeah.
Thomason, he kept so many of those players. But to be sincere, I'll be very sincere with you on record. My brain tells me Arsenal winning this season because I'm looking at like
I don't,
you
I,
can criticize them all you
I
want,
don't think
but my heart tells me City. This is why I understand City, but I just feel Arsenal keeps getting better.
yeah, I know, but I agree.
But I don't want them to win it. I'd rather have because I don't want Arsenal fans to talk. I'd rather have City win it 70 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we City will have to cope without Rodri's presence for the whole season. But my problem with Arsenal, and this is why I feel I don't know what's the whole situation is within the club, but I feel like if I've looked at Arsenal's bench so far this season, and it's not in terms of the overall quality of players they have to call up. I know they have injuries, but I looked at the injury list. There are quite a few players on the board. The only player that I can say okay this is a player that starts for Arsenal week in week out. Is the Norwegian midfielder Odegaard. You have other players like Zinchenko. I don't think Zinchenko starts in this Arsenal team right now. You have
No, no,
you
I
have
get what you're saying. But they have for if they are losing a game, they have if everybody is fit, they have Trossard and Jesus to call up. Like to get a goal or one.
yeah, but he's
They have to.
yeah,
In midfield, they don't really have anybody. There's nobody I can see.
exactly.
But the young boy is good. But he still has a long way to go. But they don't really have. But in defense, they are good in defense because Timber has the other guy, the English boy.
Uh,
What's his name? Ben
Ben
White.
White, yeah, in defense,
Ben
in
White.
defense,
Yeah,
there's a lot.
the
Of,
left Calafiori has Timber also on the other. But in centre back, if they're injured in the centre, the gap Saliba and Gabriel, there's nobody.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
it? What's
Well,
it?
no, then no,
Kivio is not all
Kivio.
that rated.
No, but
Give you. I get what you're saying. Like, so if something happens in the middle, and you say you what that yesterday, as soon as they had Trossard, there was nobody apart from Ethan
as
one that they could
as
call up. Like,
and Chelsea's telling a lot. But I just feel it's
okay, tell me, yeah.
no, we've all seen championship winning teams in Premier League, and very few of them have the amount of players they can, or the quality of players they can call up from the bench is quite strong. Like we've seen with Chelsea in the past, is where you have players like Andy Scholler on the bench, even Willian on the bench, or Pedro on the bench, Fabregas on the bench, or and Bashwai. But with Arsenal, I just look at it. Like I feel that they need one more. They need one more player that comes. I don't know who that player is, but they need one more. Like I said with City, I feel City so far that they're lacking spark. But with Arsenal, you can't. So far, this is Arsenal have defended well against most teams, and Raya has been their best player this season so far. But if you're a team that expects to challenge for the title, at this point, I know it's very early in the season, but at this point of the season, I would not expect your goalkeeper to be your standard player of the season so far. It's
Yeah, 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 yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying this is not good enough. But I'm just saying if I'm Arsenal, I'll have this. It's Arsenal. They are in a title race. I think the most people have accepted the fact that Arsenal in this title race, and they've been for the last 2 years. But I feel to push because you're not just going. You're not just in the title. You're going against a Man City team that is going for 5 titles.
Yeah.
This is a team that knows how to win. They know, like the draw yesterday on Saturday won't really. It won't worry them because you know what, it's Newcastle, but you know what, we'll target the next 5 games and we'll smash everyone for the next 2 months. And we've seen Man City go on this runs where they win 14 straight games, but most times they've always had Rodri or one of them. But if De Bruyne comes back to good form and Foden comes back to any kind of form we saw last season, I feel Man City can just still they might have enough week in week out to beat most of things. But with Arsenal, I know that game like we talked about the goalkeeper how amazing it was. That game had no there was no reason for that game to be that dramatic the way it ended up being. Where
Yeah, yeah,
there were 2 goals. I know they consider some I won't say unlucky goals, but they were not if you look at the XG for Leicester on the day, it wasn't even up to was less than 1 point something XG. They were quite they were not good shots. They were just lucky. There was a deflection. And there was a fantastic goal. But on this day in the Premier League, where it's very unpredictable, and you're going to this game against a Leicester team that have not looked good so far, and you're going to the 95th minute 2-2, and you ultimately win the game, and it's all fine. But if I'm Arsenal, I'm like, this is. Can we keep this momentum week in week out with the Champions League, with the FA Cup that will come next year, with the Europa League? Because I saw on the midweek Saka was playing in the League Cup.
I was so angry. I was so
So
angry with that
so
decision.
it's
Like, what are you doing?
so it's
Like Saka, you want to kill him? Like he plays every
he
week. Like
played
I don't like no.
so far they've not really said officially how long their captain Odegaard is injured for. I fear it's months rather than weeks. The way that they're quite tight-lipped on it, but with you can't. I feel if Arsenal lose Saka, or if they say they lose Saka or a Trossard, or even a Declan Rice, it's just not. There's not enough. There's not enough meat on the bone to get get something else. But we'll see, we'll see. So we'll see.
Oh, let's go to the next one. Cole Palmer is Chelsea's Cole Palmer based on recent. Is it recency bias or is he the best player in the Premier League
Yes,
right now at the moment?
yes,
Oh yeah, tell
mm.
me,
Yes.
give me.
No,
Hit me.
yes, and I feel there's only one reason that has kept Kopama out of this discussion, and that's the overall performance of his club Chelsea. Because where if you have because for large part of last season we saw
But
Chelsea.
you're right. He did the same thing last season. You're
No,
right.
no, this
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
this is nothing new. Like if you check on every single metric, goals scored, assists, chances created in the last or even in the last year, this so far this year, and even last season as well as a whole last year, he's one or two in terms of all those categories. He's one or two. The only person that comes next to him is the striker at Man City, Haaland. He's and like we saw his magic yesterday where he scores 4 goals. But the way he's doing it, it looks like we all know how it shouldn't be this easy, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying the goals were easy, but it shouldn't be this. He's doing it so like he's doing it. I'm not saying he's doing it casually. Like you score 4 goals, one half. Like yeah, it's not no big deal. It's just I've I'm, I find it hard to put words to Palmer because it's just so good. Because I feel there's nothing he can do. He can score you free kick from 30 yards. He'll score it easy. Penalty from 18 yards. He's taken 10 penalties in Premier League. Scored no 10. Is it tappings? He scores tappings. Is it on the fourth goal yesterday? Is it on the intelligent run from outside the box to in? Gets the pass. One time finish. He slots it easily. And he scored 4 yesterday, but on a good day, he could have easily scored 6 or 7. Because inflation,
yeah,
remember, he hit the post, he had a goal disallowed for tight offside and some other chances he missed. So he's just, I feel, and it's the confidence he has in his game and the humility that goes with it, where he's, he's scoring all these goals, but he's also at the same time creating at a ridiculous high level. So yesterday he could have easily ended up with 4 goals or four goals and 4 assists if the finishing was better and the finishing or decision making was better and with a bit more luck with the offside. And I just feel he's been so consistent for Chelsea since he put on the Chelsea shirt. Not just in terms of his overall numbers, but his performances week in, week out. And I feel if Chelsea are in a situation where they're challenging for top four position, or if they are challenging for the title, knock on wood, if they are challenging for the title, then these conversations then become more pronounced in the mainstream media and the main football discourse because there's like we see what Yemin Lamar is doing in Spain and everyone's going over the moon for him. But I look at Kopama. Kopama does is this
No, but I'm a big fan of Lamau. So big. But yesterday, I asked myself some questions. Whatever Yeri Lamau is doing, Palmer had been doing even better.
yeah and
But
more
what makes
and more
Lamau special is that he did it at the Euros. If you take out that Euros from Lamau's game,
yeah
whatever he's achieved, everybody, you understand? Not
yeah.
everybody, but you get what I'm saying. But it was his ability to do it at the top level in the finals against every team,
But it's,
right?
but also at Yamal, he was in a very good team that was well coached, and we saw at Euros. Kopama did not start any game at Euros. He
Yeah,
did not
yeah,
sing.
yeah.
So we
And when he came on, he had some very good games. He had a
so
good game in the final
So
when he
so
came on.
so so in the semi-final where he creates the winning goal for the Watkins, and in the final where he comes off the bench, and the finish for the equalizing goal for England. I know they ultimately lose the final, but the finish is just so is so clean. He makes perfect contact, but he finds the bottom corner, and I feel, but I also the way he plays is just the overall swagger. He plays like the way, I'm not comparing them in terms of playing style or whatever, but I feel the overall swagger he plays with is reminds me of Eric Eric Cantona when he was at United,
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
he's on the
But
pitch.
Captain had the arrogance with
Yeah,
him,
yeah,
but
yeah,
he doesn't have
yeah.
the
Like he
arrogance.
does,
Yeah,
like
but
like I said,
nonchalant attitude when he does something,
exactly.
I
Like
I
it's
get what you're
like
saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it looks like you like he. he scores, he goes like, okay, you know what? Yeah, scores a free kick from 30 yards. Yeah, he does his celebration. That's it. But there's no. It's to his. To I think to him, it's like, oh, this is just another day playing football with my mates in the park. But I'm just doing it here
The
for
highlight, the highlight of his game yesterday to me wasn't even the goal. It
what's.
was the pass he gave to Jackson. There was a ball coming
Yeah,
in.
yeah. I saw. I
He
remember.
gave that. I'm like he gave that pass. He wasn't even looking.
Yeah.
That means even before the ball came, and I think Jackson missed.
Uh,
Jackson ended up miss. No, it was offside. I
no,
think it was
no, no. It
offside.
was, it was the pass where Jackson goes around the goalkeeper, then they clear it off the line, and it's but that's what I was speaking. I was talking about. It's not just his goal scoring, but his overall creativity. If that was Kevin De Bruyne, we'll like, wow, Kevin De Bruyne, fantastic, fantastic. But this is the essence. Like Kopama is the way he plays. He has that essence of a playmaker. He can create any chance anywhere for his teammates. He can create from right back if he's playing right back, if he's in right back position. He can be a centre back and he hits a long pass. He can find a teammate at the other end. And not only is he creating, but he's creating at the same level, at a high level, and scoring at a high level as well. He's the first player in Premier League history to score 4 goals in the first half of a football match. In
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in Premier League,
He has three hat tricks, Premier League history.
yeah,
Three hat tricks. The same thing with Lampard, Jimmy Floyd, Hasselbank. People just talk about Drogba, but when you've been watching Chelsea, see what
it's
Hasselbank did for Chelsea. Like
it's
Hasselbank, he
so
was the cool
so
and Lampard. I'm like, damn. And then all together this season he has been involved in 32 last season and this season he has been involved in 32 goals. That's a lot. That is a lot.
uh,
I saw Watkins break another record today,
yeah.
and I was so excited. Only for me to check down, I said only Kopama has. I'm like, damn. So
I said it like no. I said
I was
like
happy for Watkins.
no,
That's because Villa is my second team, right? So I'm like looking at saw Kopama again. I say, oh, don't do this to
but that's the
to.
level.
I think he's 17 assists, 17 assists for since last season. I'm like, damn. So, I must I see Kopama's name here
No, but
again?
I feel like cause also feel like last season wasn't really he didn't get like he ultimately he won young player of the year last season and that's credit to him. But I feel until Chelsea are in conversations for serious for titles, cups, Champions League positions, I feel his overall efforts won't get the deserved praise it needs. Like Yamal played fantastically and he ended up winning the Euros. He gets all the deserved applause and all. I feel with Cole Palmer, if he can keep this level and the Chelsea can fix the other moving parts around the team and the coach does what he needs to do consistently enough, I feel they can have a good season this year. But also because and it's just because I was watching the game and I was like, do you know he scored 4 goals as well in the game last season against
Oh, well, again, is it Manchester United?
I don't
Everton.
everything like no because last season was last where he scored back to back hat tricks at home against Manchester United and the next week against or 2 weeks after that another home game against Everton he scored 4 goals and
Oh, damn.
like I'm just like it's like remember if you remember back to I remember the goals clearly it's just it's the variety of goals where you see one of the goals where he chips the Pickford from just from 30 yards out before gives away a bad pass. He just chips it for his hat trick. It's another one where Jackson link up on the edge of the box and he slots it to the bottom corner of his left foot. And there's another way that is a tapping inside the box. So it's just the variety of his goal, and it's not just you can't say it's oh this is one performance where he hit the league. He got
Yeah.
4 goals. But I feel 3 times out of 5, this is a general Kopama performance where he gets all these chances. Sometimes he doesn't quite. And I feel his finishing still needs a bit of work, to be honest. Where I feel sometimes when he's put through on goal, he doesn't really like most people like chances. You sometimes you score, sometimes you miss. But I feel if his finishing could get a bit more cute or more clinical with his finishing when he's through on goal 1-on-1. But I feel the easier the chances, the harder it's the easier the chances sometimes when he doesn't really get them right most times.
Yeah, because there was a bad miss against was it Middlesbrough last season in the Carling Cup
Exactly. No,
in
see,
the League
yeah,
Cup. I can
exactly.
remember that miss.
It wasn't one. It wasn't one. There were about 2 or 3 on that day where On that day, he should have
That's the
had.
best. That's the worst Chelsea game ever. I could remember
Yeah,
that game
like
because and that game is like a 40% or 50% Jackson's regular game, and that was his
yeah,
performance to me
yeah.
worst game.
But I also feel like in terms of like let's talk about the game briefly yesterday. But like you said, Jackson. But let's I feel let me give a bit of shine to his teammates because when you're in a team that has players like especially against we saw Brighton yesterday where they had this outrageous highline yesterday, and I know it's how they've been playing this season, and that's fine. But you can't go away to Chelsea with a high line with Louis Dunk and Adam Webster as your centre backs, and you're playing against Jackson, Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, Madueke, and Sancho. So not only do Chelsea have the pace to capitalize on the high line, but they also have the players that can find the passes. Like we saw, like once the game changed for Chelsea, where they started punching the passes through the high line and just catching them out frequently. But also with his teammates, when you have Madueke on one side, who's willing to make all the runs, he has the pace that can you always have to keep an eye for him. So you then he drags players to that side. And you also have Jackson who makes penetrating run through the middle. He ultimately makes that space for Kopama to operate. Because when and
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
is where I felt I was watching Arsenal's game back this morning. There were a lot of times when Saka got the ball on the wing, and there was a nucleus of 3 4 Leicester players all around him. Like they had a box where they put him in this box where okay, you can't come in because there are players here that will get the ball. You can't go wide because
Mhm.
they've double marked you on the wing. And I felt like this is what your other teammates like. I saw because most teams feel they can sacrifice the ability to okay, you trap Saka, but he can't really because
Mhm.
he's the main creative outlet in the team.
Yeah,
If he because he can't get those passes to Trossard or Martinelli, as long as we contain Saka, then we can contain Arsenal. But with Jackson and Chelsea, when you have all these different threats, Madueke on the wing running down the line, you have Sancho who's also another good ball carrier and is very technically secure. You have Enzo Fernandez as well who can find
well, you know, Enzo had a very good game that yesterday.
fantastic game.
I'm surprised people didn't talk. He had a very, very,
Yeah,
very, very good game yesterday.
and like because you see, like I feel Kopama's toughest game so far this season was against Bournemouth, where he didn't really get into the team game. He didn't really get into the game because he wasn't getting those passes in the right time. And this is where Enzo Fernandez comes in, or even a player like Sancho comes in, where they get that ball, they secure the ball, but they find that pass. They have that because you can see that telepathic understanding between these players with Enzo Palmer and Sancho, where they all know what
Sancho's one is surprising to
no,
me how he
no,
did.
but this is I feel this Sancho is a player we'll talk about at some point. But I feel this is what environment or different environment happens gives to a player where you leave you leave that toxic environment. It's like when you leave your toxic ex girlfriend and you go and flourish in that relationship. This is what it is. Sancho has Sometimes then you go into get another relationship, then you're being treated right. You start glowing again, then you get your groove back, and that's what's happened to Sancho so far. We'll talk about United because that is going to be a long one. So I'll let you
The next
continue.
one is United. Yeah, the next one. No, you've said that there's
United,
nothing else to say about. Yeah, let's just go to United. There's nothing else to say. Yeah, United.
start.
Mhm.
I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
No, just the only.
No,
I'm being emotional because I'm
inform
a little bit
if no
sympathetic.
inform. Okay, just inform our listeners on what happened.
Okay, United lost again to Tottenham, right? And when you understand psychology, you realize that what's his name? Um, what's his name? The coach of Tottenham, Postecoglou, is a very good psychologist. Now Tottenham has been having bad run. They beat United today. Then he takes the spotlight. He's there talking about how they did the right thing and all those. And this is one thing I like about Postecoglou. Despite Tottenham winning, Tottenham play with loss of energy. Udoji is one example of such a player. Like you could see them there. It's like the ants when he's climbing something and the road is blocked. He keeps hitting his head even when it's blocked. Tottenham, even if he's not working, they want to repeat it. And is they had it under, they didn't have it under Red now, they didn't have it under AVB, but I think they had it under, who was their last boss, Pochettino. There was a time
Yeah,
they played their hands
yeah.
out. Yeah, yeah, so he has it. But now United had a very poor game, and at the end of the
Poor,
game it ended 3-0.
poor game.
It was miserable. It was miserable. At the end of the day,
I,
Rebecca Lowe
I think
for MSNBC or whatever, she said, I didn't know that, but I wanted to get more about. She said United have recorded more 3-0 losses
I have it here.
since
I have it.
since
No,
since Fergie's
no,
exit than
no. It's
what
just
was that?
I have it here. So since joining Manchester United, Eric Ten Hag's Manchester United have conceded 3 goals or more 25 times.
Jesus
So I'll say
Christ.
again,
Damn.
Eric Ten Hag's Manchester United, since he's been there, they've conceded 3 goals and more 25 times in the
Damn, that's hard.
in the space of 2 years and 6 games so far. So that's in over that quick maths. Uh, 38, 30.
Oh, that's 38 plus
Yeah,
6. I
exactly.
get what you're
So
saying.
quick maths.
Yeah, 38,
We do
38.
about
Yeah.
three plus goals 25 times, and it's not a situation where you can point out, okay, this is a new manager going to a new team. He's trying to change the culture, find the players that fit his style. Like we saw with Klopp, where Klopp goes to Liverpool in the first year. He has players like Klavan, Lovren, and centre backs that he's trying to get his players. He gets in better centre backs. It ultimately improves. This is Ten Hag's team. If you go through the lineup, the goalkeeper, that's your goalkeeper, Andre Onana. The left back, Dalo, that's your left back. That's a right back playing left back. That's another point that doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know why coaches do that.
Right,
That was
right back, that's your right back. Two centre backs, the late new signing, and Lisandro Martinez. And with these two centre backs, Lisandro hasn't had a good season. But with delay, this is one of those performances that where you start to understand why this is a player that has gone to Bayern Munich and Juventus, and it hasn't worked out for him it hasn't worked out for him in the last few years. You start to see, okay, this could be why. Where he's very aggressive, but he lacks the natural athleticism to cover the last spaces he leaves behind. We'll get to him soon. In midfield, you have your new signing, Ugarte, that
Ogate, yeah,
you,
and he was player of my was signing of the season for me. I
I
was
thought
so
no.
embarrassed.
I told you. You see, you have this player. Okay, Casemiro was the issue with this team. You shifted Casemiro.
Well, he hasn't played in a lot of games now, so
Wait. We see. I'm going. You see, Casemiro is the problem. Is the defect in this team. Okay, you know what? You shift him out. Bring in a brand new 50 million pound signing. Perfect. You have Kobe Meno, a young academy player. Fantastic. Then you have Bruno Fernandes in midfield. You have Ahmad at right wing. That's your player. That's your guy you've anointed. Rashford at left wing. That's your guy you've backed and trusted. Then you have your striker, who's this 14 year this new boy from Syria. This is your team.
that's
This is your team. And for me, what's the first 20 minutes of that game is one of the worst performances you see from any Premier League team. It is the worst performance I've seen from any Premier League team, except one, and that was Sheffield United from a result of last season against when they lost 8-0 against Newcastle, and a game they lost against Arsenal, they lost big. But that was the worst performance you see from any Premier League team by those two Sheffield United games. That first 20 minutes, if Ten Hag had any confidence in what he was trying to achieve, or any clarity what he was trying to achieve, before that red card, he should have made at least 3 changes in the first half after 20 minutes, because you play midweek against 20, because it's this running joke where you have the picture of Ten Hag, but this tactics worked against 20. Why is it not working in the Premier League? But the joke is now the tactics are not even working against 20 from the Dutch league. No, so I don't understand it. Then the goal they concede, where the goal they concede is similar to the goal they concede today, where a defender just picks up the ball and just
Yeah, Rashford losing possession. The first goal, right? It does the same thing that happened to against 20.
exactly. So a defender just picks up the ball, just starts running. People are either not tackling or missing the ball, and somehow the ball gets to Eriksen. Eriksen just malfunctions. The player snatches it from him. Then he's 1-on-1 with Onana. Onana shockingly dives the wrong way. You're 1-1 and you can't respond. But today, I know Van der Ven is one of the fastest players in the Premier League. But this is you're 10 minutes into this game where this is a big game for United. Tottenham at home is a big game where on Sunday all eyes on me. Everybody's watching this game. You expect your players to be up for, especially after midweek where Eriksen goes on the interview and said it seemed on the day they wanted it more than us. And to say that about your team with this manager,
No,
yes,
that's an indictment.
exactly. But then come out again today. You're into this game, and this centre back just if he takes the ball and just, oh, I get the ball, should I pass it on? No, there's this massive space in midfield. Just
No,
appears.
they must have done that in in training. They must have the coach must have told them that if you run against United, I think so
No,
because how the
in that moment, I actually don't know what's worse, the lack of United players tackling or putting a tackle or stopping Van der Veer's run, or what happened on the other side of the ball. Because if you watch it back and just focus on the far post on the right wing where Johnson's running, Dallo just Dallo has Johnson in front of him, and for some reason he just stops running or doesn't run hard to cover to track back Johnson. And when by the time Van der Ven crosses the ball into the box, Dallo already has his hand. He already has his hands up. I don't know if he's happening for offside or is it just say, oh my mistake, or is he tired? I don't understand. This is 10 minutes into the game. So okay, then that happens. Then what precedes this or that whole event is some of the worst football see, I'm not a Manchester United fan, but you know me, like
but what do you think? What do you think he's trying to do? Because I don't understand.
so
This is
okay,
what it reminds
okay,
me of.
no,
Hold on, this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Lampard in his second
no, no,
season.
no, 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 don't disrespect Lampard like that. Don't disrespect Lampard like that.
You feel he's worse?
No, Ten Hag right now. You see,
Yeah.
forget right now. Even last season, Ten Hag was pound for pound the worst manager in the Premier League. Or United.
Because when United play, there's lots of spaces in the field. It's like the field is bigger.
So
So what is happening?
so
What
so
causes
so
that?
if you go through the overall structure of a team, the structure and build up is not there. The pressing is not there. Defensive shape is not there, and other aspects are clearly not managed properly. This is on the manager. This is literally your job. When you can say it's one thing, okay, the pressing is good, but the build up needs work. You can understand. Okay, you need the whole the whole discourse was, oh, we need the build up is not good because you don't have players that are good enough to build up. Okay, and the worst thing about Tenag for me is his personality and the way he goes about.
No, he has a very bad. He has a
No,
very bad personality.
and
I don't like that.
and the way he goes about
The way he talks arrogantly to people,
the
I'm
way
like, do you think when you do that they will be scared of you? Or like they are doing their job. No,
and
journalists are asking you
and
questions. Yeah,
and I feel the way he goes about finding scapegoats in this team, it shows the lack of man management or just understanding what he's doing. Where you come in, Ronaldo is the problem. We can't play properly without Ronaldo. I can't play my football without Ronaldo because Ronaldo refuses to press. And for me, that's one of the most ridiculous statements I've ever heard. Why does
yeah.
Ronaldo need to press? You have Rashford, Fernandes, let them press. This was his first couple of months as Manchester United coach where Ronaldo was the problem, they couldn't press. Fast forward it now, this is the third season with over 600 million spent. Are United a good pressing team? They're not. In fact, you know what? They've actually declined as a football team. There's no aspect of this team that's functioning. They can't control the game. They can't defend. And like if you want to get what a good team is, you look at. I know obviously you look at the wins and the points, but you look at that goal difference. That's you
Mm-hmm.
get you get an idea of how good a team is where they score enough goals on days where they should score goals, and they keep enough clean sheets,
Mhm.
and they keep the scores down, or they don't consider. But when you have a manager when you have a team that has considered 3 goals or more 25 times, and you're not scoring enough goals, it affects you. United finished last season with a minus goal difference.
Yeah.
No. I'll say it again. They finished last season with a minus goal difference, meaning that they owe the Barclays Premier League goals.
Mhm.
They owe them goals. No, okay, then that was last season. Okay, then everything changes. You win this cup. You find a way to gaslight everyone. Okay, you won this cup. For some reason I don't understand, the club sticks with you. And for me, what's even crazier than them sticking with you? They they invest in you.
They extended the contract. Yeah,
No,
I'm looking at like
no,
if you wanted to sack this
they
guy, if
back
you
you.
conducted a review,
No,
you give him an extension again and then buy his players, or you just wait for
exactly,
the
because
contract
no,
to expire.
because right now it's not a matter of when or if they will sack him at some point, and we'll see in the next few months or next few seasons or years, the players he signed will not be good enough for what I hope the next competent manager want to achieve. Because Ugarte is not a good football player. He's not.
You feel it's not
He's not. He's a player that is good at one thing, and that's tackling the ball. He
like a Paulina.
I was good. Good you brought that in. We'll have a discussion about Palmer because I saw his stats, and I know you're a big fan of him. But I'll send it to you and you digest it and I'll talk about it. But Ugarte is not the level in terms of if you want to control the game and you want to keep the ball. Ugarte is not that guy. Ugarte is not the guy you have in those positions. There's a reason why he went to PSG under a position heavy coach with
Yeah,
Luis Enrique, and
Enrique.
halfway through the season, Enrique's like no. No, you can't play how I want to play, and that's by the by. You find a way. You extend his contract. You then buy into his project. You buy these new players. You give him these new players, and I look at them. And this player is not fit enough. This new striker, this new striker they got. What's his name again? The,
Zexi, Hojlon.
no, the new one, the Dutch one. See,
Zexi, yeah.
you know what? Until he starts playing well, I'll pronounce his name properly. Whatever you want to call it. I've I've watched football for a long time. I've never seen an unathletic player like this in my life. He's the most unathletic player I've ever seen. This he's understand you like we've seen Berbatov where Berbatov likes to play football at his own pace. I mean that, but
Mm-hmm.
what Berbatov was always good at was his first touch was good. His passes were
That's
good.
such a
But
passes.
but I see this guy today. Okay, you're trying to play cute where you get the ball, you flick it to Rashford on left wing, but you're just prone, you're all kicking ball out of play. It's simple. You do the basics. You get the ball. You turn. You start attacks. I don't know if it's a confidence thing, but he looks like he can't. Well, no, look, he can't run, and he's
Yeah.
so far from Manchester United in all competitions. He's missed 11 big chances. 11,
11 big in all competitions. I didn't know that.
11 big. He's missed 11 big chances. Okay, you're not scoring goals. Then let's go down. Let's go back to his overall personality. Where no, no. First, just when the second half happened and they got the red card, I, I felt it was a bit unfortunate. But you know what? But that's what happens when you have a player like Bruno that refuses to play with sense.
It was
Well, well,
unfortunate.
well
It was
no,
because
well,
he was sleeping then,
you,
and I feel his frustration also.
but,
Then he had to raise his leg and all. But if I'm a referee, I will understand. But even if a referee gives a red card for that, I still understand. I get it. Yeah.
ask Manchester United fans, and people that Manchester United fans that are watching this and listening to this, they're happy. They're happy Bruno is going to miss the next 3 games. They're happy he's going to miss the next 3 games. That's that speaks for itself. But okay, you're fortunate you get the red card. Okay, we saw what Arsenal did last week against Man City. I know it's a different scenario, different team at home. But Arsenal I know they were losing the game, but they found a way to contain Man City, ultimately get a draw.
Yeah, why at 1-0 down? Why didn't he contend that? Why was he
No,
trying
no, 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 no,
to play?
no,
He was
no. At once, one man down, he did the. At one man down. You know, some teams like We see it even like with Maresca or even with most teams, they go either man to man across the pitch. Where you go,
Mhm.
you mark a player one v one. With 10 men down, sorry, with one man down, Manchester United was set up in a man marking shape where they were marking one man, 1v1 across the pitch with a man down. Mathematically that doesn't just even make sense. Like simple, you can't do.
That means they always have one person
There
free.
was always a spare player. There was not what Tottenham did, I thought was brilliant. Was in the second half, Marcy just withdrew his position, came a bit deeper, and started controlling the game from there. Just because you know what, if you're trying to you're marking us, or you're in a your press is man to man. Give me the ball, I'll find the pass. Just give me the ball, I'll find that spare man, and we just get attacks. You see, if anything, if it wasn't for the wastefulness of Timo Werner, they would have won this game at least six.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So it's
Monana was also brilliant in the
yeah,
game.
it was
He
also
had some good
it
plays.
was also brilliant, but I feel it was also culpable for a few defensive lapses in the overall team. But I just feel at some point I hate to pick the individual players because I feel the captain of because they ask who's responsible for the failure of this um who's responsible for the failure of this task. And it's squarely on one person, just one person.
I'll be surprised. I
Eric,
don't know. I'll be surprised if they don't sack. I'll be surprised they don't sack him by tomorrow morning. I don't know. I don't. I feel they said they were investigate. They were conducting an review of the season. They came back and said they
that took over 2 weeks. So then okay now because I feel if they're not getting
maybe Gareth Southgate. Well, I don't think it's the right choice.
okay let's try and let's play this out. Let's try and predict what's going to happen in the next week or so. So say you sack Ten Hag right now. You sack Ten Hag
Yeah.
6 games into the new season. And this is a manager, like you said, like they had this long drawn out internal review of his performance, of the team's performance, where if anybody just need any sound just to watch one game of Manchester United, that was the 4-0 loss against Crystal Palace, and you get all the answers there. But for whatever reason, they had this long drawn out process where it took 2 weeks, and they ultimately extended Ten Hag and they signed all the players, and they do all the business they do. But if you've had doubts about this manager, fair enough. You extend him for say he won a cup, you want to back him the different football system, the different football operation right now.
Hmm.
Let's get him.
Hmm.
Okay, fair enough. But what you don't do is, especially if you have doubts over a coach, you don't then invest millions of pounds into the team
For him.
with the players he prefers. So now you're in this situation where say they sack Tenag now. I feel let's give it that. Say they sack Tenag right now. I believe the second right now they will give the job to his assistant coach, Fanny Stewart, Woodland Shore.
To me, very sorry, yeah.
I feel that's going to be the likely.
Or Michael Carrick. Well, I'll go with Van
I
Sarah
feel
because he's
because
already
they're
there.
already there, so you want that continuity, and we'll see how it goes from there. But
Yeah.
what then happens? Say if you manage to convince, let's just say best case scenario now. Say best case scenario, you manage to convince one of these German coaches, Thomas Tuchel, or you convince Nagelsmann to
Unagosman,
or
yeah.
you can convince Nagelsmann to leave the German national team project and come and coach Manchester United. And he comes in, okay, he sees all these pieces, but he then comes back to you like, you know what, this 50 million pound midfielder, I don't quite like him. I need another midfielder that's going to cost similar. It's going to cost similar price. This unathletic striker we have, that he's a good player, but in the Premier League you can't carry players.
And this is what they just did this season with the likes of Varane and all those guys, Wan Bissaka. I get what you are trying to say because if the next person come, he can say, "I don't want Mason Mount." There are lots of
Messi
players.
Mount,
There are lots of players like there are lots of players that there are lots and lots of players where. But although this season, I feel they signed better. Whoever was in charge of the this is when they signed Zegzi. But I don't know why they signed Zegzi and signed Holland,
to be
two
to be to
strikers
be
that are like
to be
the
to
same.
be
Like even though it's totally.
to be honest,
Yeah, I'm
you
listening.
said it sound well, but to be honest with you, I feel so far most of their signings. I personally, from what I've seen and the opinions I have about his players, because I've seen them quite a few times or I've watched them for years, I don't think Delete is good enough for where you try to go. I don't think Ugarte, I don't think is good enough. So you come down to where the new right back Nasrawi from Bamlik is fine.
Mhm.
That's a good player. The new striker Zexi, you know with striker sometimes you just need that goal to go in. Your confidence comes and it starts you become. But that's not just the only problem. You said then you then have okay, how do you fit Rasmus Højlund into this team? Bruno Fernandes is going to miss the next 3 games. Okay, you have okay. Do you go two strikers where Zexi plays behind Højlund and you go that? But what happens to Messi Mount? Messi Mount who came on as a substitute after the red card for Meno and got substituted again in the second half. So
And if you were so convinced about Mount, why did you have to buy Ogate? Because he could have simply played in deep
no,
midfield
exactly,
together with
and I feel
Casemiro. How many years remaining on his contract?
I
One
think
or
I
two?
think two, but
Yeah.
and I feel to wrap up on United, I feel because I don't know if you saw the pictures after the game where you see a lot of United fans just they're not most of them are not angry, they're not surprised, they're not shocked. This is because they know they've been here before with this coach. They've seen these performances with this coach, and it's getting to a point where apathy starts to set in where you just you can't even when you get wins, you can't celebrate wins. Or when you see good performance, you
Yeah.
can't be happy with good performance because you know your next bad performance is just probably the next game. Because we spoke about United last week where they against Crystal Palace they were fantastic in the first half, and I said then if the whole solution to get this team to play well is to get Christian Eriksen into this team, that's fine. That's a choice. You make that choice, and the team plays well.
Mhm.
And we saw like in the last 2 games or the last two Premier League games before this weekend was against Palace and Southampton. Eriksen started and they were good. But the problem you then have is you have almost 200 million pounds worth of players on the bench you signed. Casemiro, Ugarte, and Mason Mount. They have to play. You can't have Eriksen starting over these players because it's not a good look on you. Because if I'm your boss and I see that, I'll knock on your door. Oh, why did we need Ugarte when we already had Eriksen to do this job? Why did we go out there and push? Why did we push the envelope to get this midfielder when you're not really playing him or you didn't have plans or there wasn't a need?
Okay.
There wasn't a need for him in your team.
We forgot Anthony.
That's that's just
we,
that's it.
for- we forgot Anthony. He is river. And he signed a Turkish goalkeeper who I have confidence in, and I don't think I've seen that guy play for United.
Ah.
He uses the Cameroonian guy for every very game. There are-
No,
we,
no,
we, we have to.
no, Great. I know we've gone over time, but just to wrap it up. But I feel the best way to just put Ten Hag is just the overall the decision making. Where just and I'll point out 2 instances. You are your Ajax manager for however long it was, and at the same time you have Anthony in your team. Anthony starting in the Eredivisie is okay, and there's also Mohamed Kudus comes through the team. He can't really get Kudus into the team, but obviously, or I suspect you see these two players in training, you should know who is the better player when if you see them.
Yeah, you should
You should
know.
you should know.
You
So you
should
should
know.
know. So okay, then you then come to United with more resources, and you feel okay. Kudus was available for cheap. Kudus was available for
Yeah,
for half the price they got Anthony, but you pass on Kudus. You push no, you push for Anthony. The club gets Anthony.
Anthony. Yeah.
Anthony has become the laughing stock. He's become. But not just that. Say like you mentioned, the goalkeeper, the Turkish goalkeeper. You went on preseason with that's the second choice then, Maciej Kova, wait, who goes to Bayern Munich? I'm sorry, Bayern Leverkusen.
While Leverkusen, yeah, he was their goalkeeper for the Europa League.
He goes to
Was it Europa
yeah,
League?
yeah,
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 Europa League. I
Italy.
used to watch.
So he
Yeah,
goes to Bayern
yeah.
Leverkusen as second choice, and he seemingly has done well. But you come in there, you then push out, or you then push the club to get this second choice goalkeeper for £10 million, who's only played only 2 games.
I'm surprised how he does that. And they
So
won the League Cup.
so it's
Like, why don't you give him a run of games in the league? Or I don't get it. And the person he left, was it Fenerbahce? Who did he leave? And guess who they signed to replace him? It was the Croatian national team goalkeeper was the one that replaced him. That tells me how good the club he left is. That they had like it's not a young boy. I don't know what they told him
so
that he signed. Is
I feel like I always judge manager like always judge managers on the decisions they make, and I always judge managers when they don't make decisions. But I felt in this case, this is if we were to judge Ten Hag on his overall tenure, I feel this is a manager that hasn't made one good decision so far as Manchester United coach. Yeah, like we see good like we see Pochettino or bad coach all around. We say, oh, Pochettino was bad, but you know what? Okay, one good thing is okay. Some people want to give him credit.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you see, okay, but he found a way to get Kopama scoring goals. The team is scoring goals, but there are a lot of issues at that team. But the team is scoring goals. That was a problem with Chelsea for a long time. As scoring goals, you have Gallagher playing well in the team. There are some bright sparks in there, but I feel with United for the last 2 years or a few months, there's not been the only shining mark of.
Kobe, Kobe, Meno, Kobe Meno.
I'm not even giving him that. I'm not giving him Kopameno.
I didn't know him before he
No,
came,
no,
so
no,
I'll give it
no,
to
no,
him.
no, but this is like you said, like well, if you have if you're out there looking at what's coming, the young players come from academies. Kopameno was the obvious one. He's the player that a lot of Manchester United fans will say, wait, we don't if Kopameno comes to this team, you will see. So the talent has been obvious.
Yeah.
So I don't feel what Kopameno is doing is not. If anything, Kopameno is playing this well in spite of Ten Hag. So
Okay, I get
I
what you're saying.
so and you go Oba have won in the Premier in England since I've been the only one man that's won more than I have, and that's Pep Guardiola. I've won 2 trophies, but you know what? If that's that statement is such a ridiculous statement, and it's such a ridiculous statement for it, you know.
But it's too cup com. Let's leave. Man,
No, no, leave it.
we'll have another a full segment for Manchester United.
I'll
Let's
leave it.
call it a day.
Leave it.
Uh,
It's
Thanks to everyone watching. Drop your comments, like, follow us. You have anything for our followers, for our viewers?
yeah, just as always, thanks for the support. Like, share, comment, and keep in touch with any questions or any topics you'd like us to cover. And as always, thanks for your support so far.
Okay, thank you. See
Okay,
you
thanks.
next
See you
time.
next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.